stocks back positive on the session. Bitcoin, though, still near the lows of the day. Let's bring in Scott Bauer, CEO of Prosper Trading Academy. So, Scott, should we believe this reversal of sentiment until our sentiment indicator goes the other way, too? BTC down 12% still.
See, we talk about this all the time, and there just really is not a correlation yet, Oliver, between how the market trades and how Bitcoin is trading. However, last week when we spoke about Bitcoin, and given Bitcoin was trading 50,000 and plus, we talked about the consolidation that over a short period of time, week, 2 weeks, Bitcoin had really consolidated quite a bit around that 50,000, and talked about how when that happens, you can expect a big move one way or the other. Now, quite frankly, truth be told, I thought that move was going to be a continuation to the upside. We're getting it to the downside here. But I think there's a bunch of things happening that are specific to crypto, not and don't have anything to do with the overall market volatility we've seen.
Okay.
Number one, the F2 mining pool. What's going on in China. There's talk of non-transparency, if you will. That spooked some Bitcoin investors. That led to the liquidation of leveraged longs at all the leverage exchanges, which has just been building up over the last weeks and months, led to the newbies panic selling. I have actually not seen from any of these whale reports, any of the big whales panicking and liquidating. But it's all these leveraged longs that have just been, just absolutely, I'm out. Panic selling.
So when we talk about those leverage longs, Scott, even after the pullback that we see, maybe in different magnitudes for sure, Bitcoin is certainly higher beta than anything else in the risk category. I mean, Tesla and these others getting drilled at the same time as BTC, are these all part of that kind of levered trade too? Do you worry that if we don't start seeing some outperformance of BTC, then that selling can kind of fuel on itself? If I hold Tesla, Bitcoin, a bunch of other growth stuff, it's all going down together?
I'm not so sure that I correlate that. I do think, however, in this instance, though, you were seeing a lot of this leverage happening because people had these longs in some of these other big runners that we've seen. So, they're liquidating other assets, whether it be a Tesla or, some of the other big guys that we've seen just absolutely getting pummeled over the last 3-4 days or so. To help cover some of this Bitcoin. So I don't know that is something, a correlation that's going to continue on. We go through these market rotations all the time, and this one just happens to be, I think, a correlation with that leverage in Bitcoin to some of these, panic selling due to massive profit taking in some of the big runners that we've seen.
Hey, Scott, just one other point here on Bitcoin is from a trading perspective, does it look tradable to you after this drop from the high? Is this an obvious buy the dip? Is it a test of the previous 42,000 high, just waiting? How do you view it?
I think it's definitely tradable. I mean, it's always risky. It's, as you said, it's one of the highest beta out there, so it's definitely going to be risky. But yeah, I think that if it holds the 42, 44 area or so, it's definitely tradable. And maybe the new range, has gone from 25.30 up to 37.42, now up to 42.50. So I definitely think it's tradable.
Okay. Hey, what about copper? Let's switch gears because I want to talk about what's working today. It's just incredible, the momentum now that's been building here.
Yep.
So, Scott, $4.22. I mean, we were trading with a 3 handle just a couple weeks ago, and copper just can't be stopped. We had some good housing data. What else is here?
Yep. Well, first off, you got a lot of momentum going across the commodity space, but copper, Dr. Copper, has gotten this name over time, because it really has lived up to its billing of kind of being able to foretell the path of the economy. And what we're seeing now with some acceleration due to vaccines, possible reopening, but especially what we're seeing in Asia and in China, who's absolutely far ahead of us right now, that's a reopening story. And copper, more so than any other commodity, even silver, is about the economy. It's about building. It's about reopening. So, in copper's case, this rally has probably been a really long time coming. And I will tell you, and this is absolutely not a political comment. This is a fact this is reality. But the prior administration's trade war that we had with China, which obviously was, not well celebrated, let's put it that way, that put a big damper on copper. China is the world's largest copper buyer. So that put massive demand constraints on the prices of copper. And now that you're seeing China reopening faster than anywhere else, I think there's a huge catch-up. Has it gotten ahead of itself? Maybe a little bit, probably a little bit. But if these reflationary trades continue and and the interest rate sensitivity environment continues, you might see a 5 handle in copper.
Okay, so Dr. Copper, who also sees Chinese patients that maybe are taking up a lot of his time right now.
Yeah, he's got frequent flyer miles.
Okay. All right. Appreciate it, Scott. Nice thoughts here on one big up mover, one big down mover. Bitcoin on the downside, copper higher when we come back. Our next guest